Hello, I'm Father Josh, and I've been asked to say a few brief words on why it's important for us to consider to take Saint Joseph as our spiritual father. And why should we have a spiritual father at all, you might ask, because I already have a dad. And yes, our dad is a gift of God to us, and he does reflect the Heavenly Father to us. But that's already an important point we make there, that we do profoundly, all of us, have a spiritual father, and that is God the Father. He's not a bloke, he's a spirit. And all of us, both our spirit and our bodies and so on, are created by him and made to us as a gift from him. So already, by definition, if you're a human male, right, then God is already your spiritual father. You already have a spiritual father. So having a spiritual father for a man goes to the heart of what it means to be a man, actually. That said, why Saint Joseph? What's his connection? The reason is because of all earthly men, of all earthly fathers, Saint Joseph is the finest father that has ever been, that we've ever had. This is affirmed repeatedly in the tradition of the Church, that he is really someone who models best, not perfectly, because he's a fallen sinner like us, but with the particular grace of God, and having received the particular mission of God that he has, really a model, a good father to all of us. How do we know that he's been given to us? Because in part, God himself, Christ himself, received him as his own father, as the one who would take care of him, who would encourage him, who would help him to grow and to discover and deepen his experience of the will of God, and his love for, in as much as he's a human being anyway, and his love for him in his humanity. And so we want to really make the same experience as Jesus did. And so it makes sense as a Christian. I'm a Christian man. If I want to be like Christ, then like Christ, I will have Mary as my mother. I will also have Joseph as my spiritual father. And this is not just my opinion, right? This is obviously confirmed by the Church, because as you would all be aware, one of the first things Pope Francis did on becoming Pope was he inserted St. Joseph's name there in the canon of the Mass, there in the Eucharistic prayer, where he had not been present before. And the fact the Pope wants to make sure in all over the world, in the most intimate part of our Catholic life, the most intimate part of the Holy Mass, not only Virgin Mary is present, but also St. Joseph is present, really goes to show the very high regard the Church and the tradition of the Church, the magisterium of the Church, has for the figure of St. Joseph. Part of the reason also is because St. Joseph in the tradition of the Church is known as the terror of demons, and this is something which is really good and helpful for us, and the lives of the saints themselves reflect this. So for example, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, St. Teresa of Avila, for example, she would often have recourse to St. Joseph. The Little Sisters of the Poor in France, I remember, whenever they used to go around in pairs asking for money, they'd always carry a little statue of St. Joseph in their pocket to help them receive everything they needed for the growing of the congregation. St. Faustina also, she spoke about her need to have recourse to St. Joseph and the help he gave her. And even Eileen O'Connor, when speaking with her own sisters, so Eileen O'Connor of Coogee in Sydney, she, in speaking of Mary to her sisters, would say, "Tell her you want to be more like St. Joseph. You want to understand more fully the will of God, that you may love him more." Right? Taking St. Joseph as our father is a good and easy way of helping us love God more and love the will of God more. Why? Because we see in the figure of Joseph someone who loved the will of God. We see in all the gospel passages that whenever St. Joseph was asked to do something, he did it immediately. He trusted God. He knew the Father. And this is what made him a good father, his own trust and confidence in his own spiritual father, which is God the Father. So, my brothers, let us, all of us, in these days which follow, with great confidence, take St. Joseph as our spiritual father. Let us ask him for his protection, and protection from all the demons who fly from him. Let us also ask him to help us to be true men, to be true sons of God the Father, and to really be close to Christ and close to the Virgin Mary, as St. Joseph himself was and knows how to do so well. Thank you very much.